What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, that's Scott Savage, and man, do we have a lot to talk about today, Scott. What's on the show?
We have the return of Fortnite and the massive numbers that Epic Games has seen. Will World of Warcraft ever come to consoles? Perhaps. The Last of Us multiplayer is still being talked about somewhere on somebody's desk, and that is today's show.
Let's get going. It's time for some Fortnite. Well, Scott, it's the return of Fortnite. Just when you think things are starting to fizzle out, well, man, did that just change. Fortnite had its biggest ever day with 44 million players following the original map's return. Chris Scullion over at VGC. Dude, that's insane. The numbers this thing just pulled in. Incredible.
That's like 1.5 Canadas playing at one time.
According to a tweet posted on the game's official Twitter account, the game saw record player accounts on Saturday, November 4th. Quote, "Way to start things off with a big bang," end quote, reads the tweet, which was posted on Sunday. Quote, "We're blown away by the response to Fortnite OG. Yesterday was the biggest day in Fortnite's history with over 44.7 million players jumping in and 102 million hours of play. To all Fortnite players, OG and new, thank you," end quote. According to the third partner Fortnite tracker, Fortnite GG, the game hit its all-time peak concurrent players during this period with a peak of 2 million people playing the game at the same time at one point. Initially launched on November 3rd and running until December 2nd, the month-long Fortnite OG season promises to take fans of Epic's Battle Royale on a trip down memory lane. The Fortnite map has reverted to Chapter 1 Island, meaning players will be able to battle it out across returning points of interest, including Tilted Towers, Risky Reels, Greasy Grove, and Loot Lake. Quote, "Throughout Fortnite OG, each major update will bring a different phase of Battle Royale's past, starting with Chapter 1, Season 5, end quote. Epic said in a blog post last week, quote, "This means shopping carts, AKTs, the ESR assault rifle, pump shotgun, and more in both Battle Royale and Zero build. Returning players may be in for a slick shock, however, because last month, the price of Fortnite V-Bucks was increased in numerous regions, including the US. So get ready for that.
Properly.
Wasn't it? For 44 million people over the weekend? Scott, are you jumping back in?
I've started my download, unfortunately, because of my internet connection speed. I've not yet played, but I've been stuck. I've been locked away in some other games that I can't wait to talk about. But
yeah.
I also can't wait to talk about returning to Fortnite, because this is the exciting return to form that I've kind of been waiting for a long, long time. I really was a fan of Fortnite right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think I started to fall off around Season 3, but it's hard to remember now. It's been so long.
So my boys are in, hands down. My oldest is like, "Dad, the OG map is coming. I'm so down for this." And sure enough,
how many wins?
Holy crap. Honestly, I don't know. He had a couple over the weekend, but he was like, man, him and his buddies were having a blast all weekend. My middle child in there too, having a blast, hanging out with them, playing. And that was their weekend. Like, that was it. It was Fortnite pretty well the entire time. And man, I saw Corey put up a little Twitter post, a YouTube short for us as well. He was in there. He was back. He got a dub, of course. You know, Corey, man, never ceases to amaze. That's for sure. But it's one of those things, man. Like the OG map, the return to form after all these, I guess, years at this point of Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
It was just the hunkering of and the hungry to go back to the original with more of the twist of what we get today, I guess, in Fortnite. It's been so long since I've been in Fortnite myself. My kids are like, "Dad, you want to jump in?" I went, "No." No, you guys have been doing this for too long. I'm just gonna get rocked. I'm not jumping back in. I was off doing other stuff and working on games for the show and things like that. But it was a busy weekend of Fortnite, that's for sure. 44 million people, dude. The amount of money they just made over the course of the weekend. My kid alone spent $100.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Well, I bought, Garrett the battle pass for his birthday because it was my son's birthday too. So we went out for a birthday celebration, and then next thing you know, it was all Fortnite. But yeah, he spent money. He bought that, and then he bought V-Bucks, and with the price going up.
Oh, you're back
dude,
now.
Right? They're all in. So, but the timing of the price increase, Scott. What are your thoughts?
Interesting. I'm sure that was calculated, as
absolutely.
most good business decisions are, but I'm surprised they had the server capacity for that many people. In fact, I'm surprised the whole world has that much server capacity.
It's insane. The attention to detail to be able to pull off something like that to run flawlessly in today's of, hey, game launch doesn't work, right? Where here we are with Fortnite, the biggest spike in their history of the game, and it just worked. Like now, granted, there was a queue. I remember my son going, "Dad, I got a 6-minute queue to get into my game." I was like, "What?"
6 minutes. Oh, you should have seen the Diablo 4 queues.
Well, and then my oldest there, he's like, "Dad, I had to wait a half hour to play a game." I was like, "My goodness, man!" It's just, but they just wanted to play, right? And it was good for them. Fortnite is back, but Scott, after this wraps up, the OG map wraps up, what happens then? Are the numbers still gonna stick?
I have a feeling it will, of course, stick around a little bit, but I think they're gonna have to keep that OG map around, or split the seasons. Now there's a different playlist for the OG map. Perhaps I could see that happening.
Yeah,
they did this similar with no build mode.
Yeah, fair enough, right? So we'll see if the player count sticks around or if it dies. Let us know over on Twitter at the official ITG. Did you jump back into Fortnite? Scott, Blizzard says it talks about bringing WoW to consoles all the time. Jordan Midler over at VGC. Speaking of Games Radar at BlizzCon, Holly Longdale, the vice president and executive producer of World of Warcraft, said that it talks about bringing the prospect all the time. It's a complicated question, Longdale said. For a console audience, the approachability is likely going to be different, end quote. While in the past, MMOs of World of Warcraft size were more at home on PC due to computing power, some of the largest MMOs today are extremely popular on consoles, such as Final Fantasy 14. Dude, I almost said 16 just out of habit. Quote, right now we're focused on the World Soul Saga, but if that comes up, then we'll re-examine things, but man, we've got enough to deal with right now, end quote, said Longdale. Quote, we've got these 3 expansions, and we are so excited about them, but yeah, of course, it would be very insincere to say that we're not like, of course we're talking about that, end quote, she repeated, before adding, quote, we are Microsoft now, end quote. Oh, well then, Scott, because apparently Activision didn't have enough money in their pockets. Xbox maker Microsoft finally completed the $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard last month. So that's what she's talking about, if you weren't aware. But Scott, WoW coming to consoles. Like, I often think of Black Desert Online as well as another one that's over on consoles. And that's a good one. I had a good time playing that one. I didn't stick around. MMOs, not normally my style of game just because of the time sink alone, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
But could you imagine bringing in WoW? I saw people tweeting about the BlizzCon over the weekend. And one person, man, these cinematics, like the WoW cinematics alone. Here's the problem. You see a WoW cinematic and then you see the gameplay. You're like,
yeah,
right?
That's it. It doesn't match up with my flavors at all. The idea of the kind of casting different magic attacks and then just kind of sitting back. If it played like a third-person action game, I'd probably be all into it. But it's still a little different for me. So in that situation, I'm not so excited about this if it does come to console, just because there's nothing here personally for me. It's interesting to see how that's going to run, though. Do you just plug in a mouse and keyboard onto your computer, or on your console rather, and comparatively have a computer experience? I'm not sure if that does it for a lot of people, but I have seen a lot of talk on this since the acquisition went through, actually. Some people that you keep in the follow list, and they keep bringing this up as if it has to happen any day. It just has to happen. But World of Warcraft is, at this point, a 20-year-old game. Maybe this would be the right kind of MMO to slide over into the console space.
But how much of that 20-year-old game would console players get? is my question. If you jump into
that's
something that's
interesting.
20 years old and they bring over all the content with it, like I'm not a WoW player, so I'm not really up to date when it comes to what they're playing over on PC for this, right? But at the same time, 20 years, dude, we take a look at Destiny 2, for example, and Destiny 1. Trying to get caught up into that 6-year life cycle is complicated. I can only imagine what 20 years of WoW is going to be like for a brand new player to try and jump in over a console.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's vanilla mode, then there's the old OG mode. There's a whole different types of variants of the game now, and I haven't figured it out at any point. The idea of talking about Warcraft and coming to console has me with one idea recurrently in my head. Warcraft 2, please come back. I would say Warcraft 3, that was never my personal favorite. I think I'm just a couple years older. I remember Warcraft 2 well, but I don't think you can purchase Warcraft 2 right now anywhere. This would be a good way of bringing it back.
Could they restart WoW and launch a new one for PC and console to work together? Or
that's interesting.
But how mad would PC players get?
Probably, yeah. You can't burn it.
They'd be furious, PC dorks. They'd be all lit up across the internet, which I would understand too, right? After you play a game this long. Dude, one of my old buddies plays WoW with his kids and stuff. I'm like, man, how long you been playing this? Probably about a decade, right?
Yeah,
like
before they were kids.
Yeah, exactly. Him, his sister, now his kids who have kids, right? Like this is grandpa playing WoW. This is where we're at. And it's an interesting thing to think of. Can you bring it to consoles? But then what does that look like for console players? Do we get the same experience you're getting over on PC? Now with the whole cross-gen, cross-play, cross-save, cross, there wouldn't be any reason why we couldn't then, I could jump into WoW, play it with my buddy who's over on his PC, right? Who then can get me caught up to speed on what's going on. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Dude, do you think it's even worth their while to bring it to console?
They do have enough money behind them now. They can throw cash at a lot of silly ideas, and this might not be such a silly idea. I could see this working out, but like they state here, there's a lot of variables to hammer down first.
A controller versus mouse and keyboard, right? Like there's a lot different mechanics to build, to work around, to get people to understand, and then to get everybody caught up, because a lot of people coming over for the first time to console to play WoW would be like myself and not have a clue what is going on. I've always seen the big trailers and cinematics, and man, as cool as they look, I still haven't got a clue what's happening in that world. I don't know. Do you think we'll ever see this? I don't think we will. I really don't.
No, I don't expect to see it anytime soon. No. But if it does come around, I think it would be just a surprise drop.
Next gen, like the next generation Xbox coming to Game Pass.
Oh, maybe the Game Pass would be an easy way of bringing that on, yeah. But then again, you could loop Game Pass into all sorts of benefits without having to bring it console side. So,
well, that's true too. Well, just like we got City Skylines, right? But City Skylines 2 is PC only for Game Pass. They could do that here with WoW. Maybe that's one way to start introducing Xbox players into that realm, and then launch it one day on console. So maybe not till the Xbox, whatever they call the next one. Who knows? But yeah, WoW. We'll see what happens. Well, Scott, we got some information about the world of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us multiplayer. And, well, let's talk about it. Because Naughty Dog director says well, that's the biggest thing. He says he's still working on The Last of Us multiplayer. Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming, Naughty Dog's game director Vineet Agarwal, has said that he's still working on The Last of Us multiplayer. The tweet comes following widespread rumors and reports that the project has been currently on ice. Well, we heard that, what was that, 2 weeks ago now at this point, Scott, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's certainly what I was expecting.
Yeah. Earlier this year, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier claimed that Sony has, quote, slowed down development, end quote, on the title. Subsequently, following the report, several rumors began to spiral that Naughty Dog had quietly canceled the title. For example, one supposedly insider named Viewer Anon took on Twitter to simply say that the project is, quote, dead, end quote. Well, while we're confident that Bloomberg's report is accurate, I would be too, it's Jason Schreier. reassurance from the game director himself is news that the fans need. Absolutely. Officially, Naughty Dog has not commented on whether the game has been canceled or not. Earlier this year, the developer official Twitter account tweeted, quote, "We know many of you have been looking forward to hearing more about The Last of Us multiplayer game. We're incredibly proud of the job our studio has done thus far, but as development has continued, we've realized what is best for the game is to give it more time," end quote. It continued, quote, Our team will continue to work on the project, as well as other games in development, including a brand new single-player experience. We look forward to sharing more soon," which was the end of the quote, which we covered last time we heard this. So really, Scott, we haven't really heard all that much. That's
no,
right.
just one small whisper that this is still alive somewhere.
Man, just Game Awards next month. Do we see the multiplayer there?
I think if we don't, then I am really starting to believe this won't see the light of day. Yeah. Because it's just been in active development, or at least partial development, for so long now. We've missed The Last of Us show, the current season at least, to drop this during. It's missing a whole lot of other marketing kind of cooperative moments here.
Right.
And that has me wondering that I really don't think it's going to come out.
So The Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020, 3 years ago, right?
It's been that long already.
It has been. I know. But we're almost in to 2024. Technically, just 2 months away, 3 months away. We're into 2024. Now we're 4 years out since the initial launch of The Last of Us Part 2. And I was okay, Scott, thinking we'll wrap up the game, have a great experience. Dude, my game of the year. And then 6 months after that, we'll jump into the multiplayer. Well, wow, was I wrong. Right? Then the show comes out. All right, cool. The Last of Us HBO show. How will they end this? They end the show, then we carry it forward by getting the multiplayer to keep us back in that world, right? Keep that conversation going. Well, was I ever wrong again? Because it ended and nothing else happened from The Last of Us, because Bungie steps in and says, well, this doesn't really look like it's going to work. Yeah. Now, I'm paraphrasing, right? Obviously. But they came in, stated that, hey, this isn't going to work. And then just last week, we covered how Bungie projected a 45% loss of Destiny 2. I'm just putting this out there, but maybe Naughty Dog should just worry about their own game and not bringing in other people. I don't know.
Perhaps.
Right? But granted, Destiny 2, dude, has a history of doing really well, being able to keep your community alive, right? Keep that going. Whether it's good or bad, it has its ups and downs, but that's any game. I don't care what game launches. No game comes out perfect, but then it's got a bit of a lull and then it comes up, especially games as a service model. Then we hear about Connie Booth. Connie was the one who apparently was the big push to get the games as service games on the PlayStation platform to come over. We haven't seen anything but Destiny. And Destiny isn't exclusive at all. Destiny can be played everywhere. It's a multi-platform game.
Oh, and I'm beginning to question that if Bungie is really the king of games as a service anymore, or if it's just a natural decline of Destiny 2. But in either case, they're 45% lower than expectation, slamming the brakes on all those games as service kind of things across PlayStation. It has me wondering, is Destiny really the true masters of it? Are they really who should be overseeing something like this? Or is it really just down to Fortnite? We talked about that at the top of the show here, and I think Fortnite really is the masters of how to do a games as service. I'm wondering if that's just even possible to see in another. Do you think that do you think the age of games as service is past?
I think it's getting old, right? I think it's starting to wear on people. Where this year, take a look at this year's lineup of games. Dude, it's all single player games, right? So many of them are coming out that have such a heavy story focused experience. Look at Baldur's Gate. Massive game. Baldur's Gate 3 comes out. Starfield comes out. Spider-Man 2 comes out. Hogwarts Legacy comes out. Jedi Survivor comes out. dude, that's all single player stuff.
Ghost
right?
Runner, Talos, Alan Wake.
Everything's just boom, 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 boom. It's been one of the hottest years. Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty DLC. Like, the list keeps going, right? Like, I can't wait for our Game of the Year discussion. But it is one of those things that this has been such a massive year for single player experiences that people are getting pulled away from the Destinies, right? They're getting pulled away from these games as a service model so that they're now, hey, you know what? I've been playing Destiny for 400 hours, 100 hours, 200 hours. I want something else to play. And then they go over to Spider-Man and play 30 hours and they're done. You know what I mean? So there's a way to break all these up, but there's been a lot of single player experiences and really, really good experiences. Not just, oh man, that was okay. Now I'll jump back into Destiny, right? There's been a lot of good ones.
Maybe there's a strategic pause then happening with this because it's the time of single player games right now. Maybe it's not a right time to drop in a multiplayer games of service, and maybe it wouldn't do well if it were to drop next month anyways. So perhaps time is the correct decision, like they say.
Maybe we get this. I'm hoping, dude, if we, like you say, right, if we don't see this at the Game Awards, they might, I don't want to say they're going to cancel it, but I'm very nervous that you're going to. Like, I think we need to see something here. We saw this, what was that, Gamescom last year with Jeff Keighley? Hey, we'll see something in 2023. 2023 is almost come and gone. So where are we? Yeah, they're still working on it. Okay, great. But from what we've heard from the outside is that it's a much smaller team. And the last time I heard a team go smaller, well, they scrapped Anthem. So, right, it's never a good thing to shrink your team when you're trying to fix stuff. You normally expand your team so you get more people on it. That's the other side, right? So there's a lot of worries for me as a massive, massive Naughty Dog fan, as a huge The Last of Us Factions fan. Dude, I've just been hungry for this multiplayer experience. What are we getting into? What does this look like? If this is the games of service model, I hope they have a lot of content in the bank to keep us going forward, right? And that's what Bungie came in for, to say, hey, I don't think this is going to have legs in the end, which is granted. Then, because we always talk about it here on the show, is how you should have a roadmap and content already established for 2 years out, right? Because you need to be able to drop us stuff on the regular so you keep us engaged, keep us coming back day in, day out. Dude, right now, Red Dead, I am hot on Red Dead Online, and I am in there each and every day collecting, getting my daily challenges, getting gold, getting this done. Now I even looped in my buddy Kyle. Kyle's in with me last night, and we're having a blast. Man, there's so much to do in Red Dead. I love that world. We can get that experience here. Yo, I'll be down for that too. Scott, just a few games today, but dude, there's a hot one on here that Steve and I reviewed. What do we have?
Absolutely. We have Europa Universalis 4, King of Kings. A bit of Latin there. I'm rusty. That is on PC. Football Manager 2024 is on PC, Apple Arcade, iOS, Android, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, X, and the Switch. Really just about everywhere now.
Yep.
The Invincible is on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series consoles. And Greed is Good is in PC Early Access today.
And that'll wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'm Drew. That's Scott.
We'll see you inside the game.